Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Marge13 and today we're going to be doing a recap of week 5 of the FUCL. It has been quite the eventful week, so be sure to get hyped. First off, we'll be taking a look at the swap I have made this week. I have swapped out Seismitoad for Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum is a monster. That's it. Stab head smash with a 121 base attack wrecks things. Like, there are very little things that can lift 2 of those. The only things that would be able to lift those are fully defensive mons that resist head smash. Besides that, it gets a decent move pool with moves like Crunch, Earthquake, Stab, Dragon Claw, and Outrage, and Superpower. Tyrantrum can be run in a couple of ways. It could be a setup sweeper with Dragon Dance or Rock Polish. It's also a very good choice item user with Scarf and Band, as they work really well on him. And finally, it finishes off the Fairy Dragon Steel Core in my team, which is always nice to have. As for Seismitoad, it just gets outclassed by my other mons. Like, Mamoswine is the better ground type, Starmie is the better water type. As a tank, it gets outclassed by mons like Florgus or Amoonguss. It is a stealth rocker, which is nice, but I have plenty of other mons to set up stealth rocks. Even the newly incoming Tyrantrum. The only thing that it does have going for it is that it's a bulky water type. Bulky water types are always good to have. And it's water absorb. But water absorb is actually the main reason I picked it up. But I haven't been needing water absorb as much as I expected to need it. The second swap this week was made by Yorick. He swapped out his Hydreigon to draft Cresselia. Honestly, it's a miracle Cresselia hadn't been drafted prior to this swap. It's a monster. It can tank anything, at most you can hit it with a Stab, Dark or Bug type move, but Cresselia can even take 2 of those before going down, maybe even more. With the possibility to set up Calm Minds, Cresselia can really annihilate teams. The only thing that really hurts Cresselia are status moves, as she has no reliable way to get rid of those. And since Yorick doesn't have a Cleric either, besides like maybe Mega Lopunny, but you don't really like running Heal Bell on that. That would probably be the main way to take it out. As for Hydreigon, it obviously is really strong and very versatile, being able to be run with a Scarf or a Life Orb and capable of using a wide variety of moves, but it hasn't been able to put out the work that Yorick had envisioned it would. Overall, I think Yorick has made a good choice making this swap. Alright, off to the matches of this week. The first match we'll be going over is the battle between Yorick and David. The game starts off somewhat regularly. Both David and Yorick get up their stealth rocks, they deal a little bit of damage to one another, etc. At one point, Cordelia is in against Mega Alakazam while a Sandstorm is up, which has been created by Tyranitar Sandstream. With Mega Alakazam at about half health, David fires off a Focus Blast, expecting to take out the Cordelia. However, with a special defense boost, rock types get in sand, Cordelia lives on 17%. The following Stone Edge takes out Mega Alakazam, giving Credilli the first kill of the match. David proceeds to bring in Keldeo to revenge kill the Credilli, which does indeed happen. At this point, Yorick decides to give the newly drafted Cresselia a go. As he is able to set up a few Calm Minds, David is forced to switch out his Keldeo and goes into Tyranitar. Unable to take it out, Tyranitar goes down to a couple of Moonblasts, and then David switches in Jolteon. Trying to confuse Cresselia, David goes for Signal Beam. And since it doesn't appear to be doing that much, it did confuse him like once or twice, but Cresselia didn't take that much damage with leftovers and possibility to Moonlight. My bad. Possibility to Moonlight. Yeah, it just doesn't work, so David switches in Crobat and goes for a U-turn. The incoming Golurk dies to a +6 Psyshock, meaning David's only hope to win is pretty much gone. Golurk was probably the only thing that might have been able to damage Cresselia somewhat with like a Stab, Iron Fist, Shadow Punch or something like that. But it just dies. Keldeo is next to fall to a Moonblast, and as Crobat comes in, it dies to Stealth Rock and recoil damage from Brave Bird. Since the Stealth Rocks are the last to deal damage to Crobat, Credilli gets the kill. And David's final Pokemon, Jolteon, also dies to Stealth Rocks upon entrance, meaning Credilli gets its 3rd kill of the week, as well as the match. Next up is the match between me and Pan. The game starts off really rough for me. Leading with Starmie, I expected Pepine's Mesprit to be somewhat defensive. However, Mesprit turns out to be an offensive variant, taking out Starmie in one shot with Thunderbolt. I then switch in Typhlosion. Typhlosion forces out Mesprit and Pepine brings in a Azumarill, which takes the Fire Blast no problem. Taking a bit of a risk, I go for Will-O-Wisp, which works out and basically neutralizes Pepine's Azumarill. However, he was able to get rid of a few items with knockoff. Azumarill does die relatively soon though, to Amoonguss Sludge Bomb. After a few switches, Typhlosion dies to Stealth Rocks, which were set up by Mesprit. Then again, not an awful lot happens. At one point I bring in Tyrantrum on Infernape, predicting it to go for Flare Blitz. It went for U-turn though, and Pepine brings in Stunfisk. Pepine expected Stunfisk to take pretty much anything. However, a Choice Banded Earthquake was in fact able to take out said Stunfisk. Mega Scizor then comes in and I'm forced to stack up Floor Gas. At that point I get Mega Metagross in against Pepine's Infernape. Predicting Pepine to switch out, I go for a Meteor Mash, which hits the incoming Bronzong surprisingly hard. I also get a lucky attack boost, which allows me to take out the Bronzong in the following turn with another Meteor Mash. Since Pepine switched in Mega Scizor, and I really can't handle Mega Scizor, I switch in Amoonguss. I tried to take out the Scizor with Hidden Power Fire, but Pepine switched out and goes into Mesprit, and Mesprit lives on very little HP. However, due to this misplay, I am forced to sack off my Tyrantrum against Mesprit, and Mega Scizor is then able to set up a Swords Dance, dealing quite a lot of damage to Amoonguss with the following U-turn. Amoonguss lives it though and takes out Inferno with a Sludge Bomb. At this point only the two Megas are left. Actually, not yet. Mega Scizor then comes in, kills Amoonguss with U-turn, and at that point only the two Megas are left. Realizing my only chance to win is to freeze Mega Scizor with Ice Punch, and then getting a couple of attack boosts with Meteor Mash. That is what I do. And that is exactly what happens. And honestly, I feel very sorry for Pepine. I really do. You've been very unlucky the last couple of weeks. But it was the only chance I had. So, it happens. I win in a very close and probably undeserved 1-0 victory. Next up is Bart vs Marnix. The match starts off pretty decent for Marnix, with him being able to take out Roserade rather quickly with Mega Sceptile's Dragon Pulse. As Rotom Frost comes out, Marnix switches to Clowitzer. Clowitzer's Aura Sphere does a solid amount of damage against Rotom Frost. However, Rotom Frost is faster and does more with Thunderbolts. Predicting Marnix to switch out and save Clowitzer, Bart goes for Blizzard instead of the second Thunderbolt. Marnix doesn't switch out though, lives the Blizzard with Clowitzer and takes out Rotom Frost, meaning one of Bart's main threats to Marnix's team is actually taken out rather quickly. Swampert then comes in to take out Clowitzer, which has had very little HP left. Marnix proceeds to bring in Mega Sceptile. Mega Sceptile fires off a huge energy ball, but because of a low roll and Swampert's Rindo Berry, Swampert is able to lift the hit and takes out Marnix's biggest threat with an Ice Punch, which is very good for Bart. Hunter then comes in to revenge kill the Swampert with a Shadow Ball. Hunter also manages to take out Honchkrow the next turn with the Destiny Bond. As both mons die, Ledios comes in against Landorus T, and Landorus T just gets popped by an Ice Beam. It just died instantly. The Gallade that follows is able to live a Drago Meteor and take out the Ledios, but because both of Marnix's remaining Pokemon, being Reuniclus and Gallade, have been severely crippled earlier in the match, Mega Charizard X is able to pick up the final 2 kills in a tight 1-0 victory. The final match this week is Victor vs Adam. Very early on in the match, Victor is able to set up Stealth Rocks and Spikes, as well as almost taking out Mega Altaria with Fortress as a result of a Fire Blast miss. Mega Altaria does manage to take out Fortress though, although the incoming Azelf is able to revenge kill it instantly. Adam brings in Registeel. Scouting for Fire Blast, he then doubles into Clefable. Predicting the double though, Victor goes for Nasty Plot, resulting in Clefable falling 2 turns later. Hitmonlee is then able to take out the Azelf. Dragonite comes in and with its Earthquake is able to take out Registeel, which was switched in to take on the Dragonite, as well as Hitmonlee the turn after, although Dragonite's Choice Band does get knocked off. As Empoleon comes in, Victor sacks off his Rhyperior and then switches into Suicune. With the help of the entry hazards that had been set up earlier in the game, Suicune is able to do a lot of damage to both of Adam's remaining Pokemon, being Heliolisk and Empoleon, with Roar. Although Suicune dies to Heliolisk's Thunderbolt, both Empoleon and Heliolisk were low enough to be picked up by a few extreme speeds from Dragonite, meaning Victor wins the match in a 2-0 manner. As we've gone over the battles this week, let's take a look at the standings. David is still stuck in last place, without being able to pick up a single win so far this season. Next up in 7th place is Bart, who managed to pick up his first win this week in an impressive manner. If David doesn't want to end up in last place, he has to step up for real now. 6th place is the same as last week, being Pepijn. Pepijn's streak of unlucky losses continues, as he is now 2-3 at a differential of +1. There is still hope for him though, to make it to playoffs. Marnix has dropped from 3rd to 5th place due to the loss to Bart. With the current standings, Marnix will not be able to continue to the playoffs, as only the top 4 will be going there. The one who has taken Marnix's spot right now is Victor, after picking up an impressive win against Adam. With a 3-2 record and differential of +6, he is slightly ahead of Marnix and slightly behind of Adam, who is in our current number 3 spot, after dropping his spot compared to last week due to his loss against Victor. With luck on my side, I was able to pick up a win against Pepijn, bringing me to the number 2 spot with a 4-1 record. Yorick remains in 1st place though, with the same record of 4-1, but a really impressive differential of +15. Next up are the kill leaders, and with that something interesting has happened. The number 5 spot this week actually has less kills than last week's number 5. With 4-1, Mega Metagross is able to sneak its way into the top 5. Number 4 is actually a 4-way tie this week. Frisian didn't get to play this week, and while Mega Lopunny was in fact brought, it was unable to actually participate in the battle, leaving both at 5-2. However, as Azumarill had been killed this week without being able to pick up any kills, it is unable to rise any spots, allowing said Lopunny and Frisian to creep up to it. Newcomer this week is Credilli, who somehow managed to pick up 3 kills this week, bringing its total score to 5-2. The number 3 and 2 stay the same, as neither Mamoswine with 6-1 or Garchomp with 7-2 were brought this week. However, something interesting has happened. While Bisharp hasn't been brought this week, a challenger has approached. Victor Dragonite managed to pick up an impressive 4 kills this week, tying his score with the reigning kill leader. Both are currently set at a score of 8-2. Finally, we've got the upcoming battles and our predictions for said battles. Pepijn was able to pick up 1 more point than I did, as he did in fact predict Bart to win against Marnix this week. Since neither of us predicted the outcome of Victor vs Adam correctly, I gained 2 points last week, and Pepijn racked up 3, bringing our point totals up to 6 and 8 points respectively. This means that I have to step up my game if I want a chance to win. As for this week, we've got Yorick, or very creative name, versus Victor, or Victor DV. Both Pepijn and me expect Yorick to win, as he seems to have been the more consistent player this season. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Victor manages to take out Yorick, similar to this week's battle against Adam. Speaking of Adam, our second match is Adam vs Marnix. This is the only match Pepijn and I disagree on. I have to say, voting for Adam would be the safer play, but as I said, if I want to win, I have to step up my game. Besides, I just really want Marnix to take out 3 people that are generally speaking considered the best 3 battlers in this league, being Pepijn, Yorick and Adam, in no particular order. Next up is David vs Pepijn. As David has not been able to perform amazingly this season, Pepijn is just the most obvious way to go. And a similar thing goes for the battle between me and Bart. Bart hasn't been playing amazingly despite this week's win, and therefore I do not expect Bart to beat me. But hey, maybe you'll surprise us. Either way, that's it for this week's recap. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!